My father's lawyer slid the envelope across the mahogany table, and my mother's face went white. Not the gentle pale of surprise, the bloodless white of someone whose entire world just shattered. Inside was a deed to a house none of us knew existed, and a birth certificate for a daughter who was exactly 3 months younger than me. "There's more," the lawyer said quietly, avoiding our eyes. "Much more. I'm Simone, the eldest of what I thought were 3 siblings, me, my brother Marcus, and our baby sister Kenya. We were the Whitmore family of Atlanta, old money, older secrets, and a legacy built on my father's commercial real estate empire and my mother's family's pharmaceutical fortune. We looked perfect in our Christmas cards. We were rotting from the inside. Dad died of a heart attack at his desk 3 weeks ago. 62 years old, working on a Sunday like always, gone before the ambulance arrived. Mom played the grieving widow beautifully, designer black everything, tasteful tears, a memorial service that made the society pages. Marcus gave a eulogy about integrity. Kenya sobbed into my shoulder. We thought we were mourning together. We thought we were united in loss. Then came the will reading. The house was in Savannah, fully paid off, worth at least $2 million. The daughter's name was Brianna, age 27, my age exactly. She'd been living in that house her entire life. Her mother, Diane, had been Dad's business associate for 30 years. But that wasn't the betrayal that broke us. Dad left Brianna 40% of his estate, the real estate holdings, the investment portfolios, everything. Mom got the family mansion and a trust fund that would keep her comfortable. Marcus, Kenya, and I? We each got 10% and a letter. Mine said, "Simone, you remind me too much of your mother, cold, calculating, obsessed with appearances. I hope one day you learn what real love looks like. Maybe your sister can teach you." Marcus's was worse, "You've never worked a real day in your life, son. The trust fund ends when you're 40. Learn to stand on your own, or don't. I'm done carrying you." Kenya's letter made her vomit in the law office bathroom. "You're the only one who might understand. Brianna is the child I chose. You were the mistake I stayed for. I'm sorry." My mother didn't get a letter. She got a post-it note stuck to her copy of the will, in Dad's handwriting. "You knew. You always knew. And you did nothing but spend my money and pretend we were happy. Enjoy the house you love more than you ever loved me." The room exploded. Marcus punched a hole in the lawyer's wall. Kenya started hyperventilating. Mom just sat there, frozen, that horrible white color spreading down her neck. I grabbed the deed and the birth certificate. "We're contesting this." Obviously. He was clearly not in his right mind. He was perfectly sound, the lawyer interrupted. "I have medical evaluations from 3 doctors. He planned this meticulously for over a year." "A year?" Mom's voice cracked. "He planned this for a year while I slept next to him every night?" The lawyer stood up. "Mrs. Whitmore, Mr. Whitmore asked me to relay a message if you contested. Should you fight this will, he left instructions to release certain documentation. Financial records. Correspondence. He said you'd understand." Mom went, if possible, even whiter. That's when I knew. My father wasn't the only one with secrets. We drove home in silence. The mansion felt like a mausoleum, 7,000 square feet of imported marble and recessed lighting and furniture that cost more than most people's cars. Mom went straight to Dad's study and locked the door. Marcus started drinking. He was 30 years old, hadn't held a job in 8 years, had a cocaine habit Mom paid to keep quiet, and a fiancée who definitely loved his last name more than his first. The trust fund ending at 40? That was a death sentence to him. Kenya came to my room around midnight. At 23, she was the baby, the sensitive one, still in grad school studying social work because she actually believed in helping people. She was also the only one of us Dad seemed to genuinely like. "The mistake he stayed for," she whispered. "Simone, what does that mean?" I held her while she cried, but I was doing math in my head. Kenya was born 7 months after my parents' huge, public fight at the governor's ball, the one that made gossip columns, the one they never explained. Mom had disappeared to a spa in Switzerland for 5 months. We'd accepted the story. We'd accepted everything. I need to meet her, Kenya said. Brianna. I need to know who she is. Absolutely not. She's our sister, Simone. Half-sister, but still. Don't you want to know why Dad loved her more than us? I drove to Savannah the next day. Alone, because Marcus was too drunk and Kenya was too fragile, and Mom had still not come out of the study. The house was beautiful, not mansion level, but a gorgeous historic Victorian with a wraparound porch and magnolia trees in the yard. Wind chimes. Flower boxes. The kind of home people actually live in, not just occupy. Brianna answered the door. She looked like Dad, same dark eyes, same sharp cheekbones, same way of standing like she was ready for a fight. She was wearing paint-stained jeans and a Howard University sweatshirt. Let me guess, she said. Simone? How did you? You have Mom's walk. Confident. Entitled. She stepped aside. Come in. Might as well get this over with. Her mother, Diane, was a retired school teacher. Their house smelled like vanilla and old books. There were photos everywhere, Brianna's graduation, family vacations, Dad at barbecues and birthday parties, smiling in a way I'd never seen him smile at home. He loved us, Brianna said simply when she caught me staring. Actually loved us. Not the idea of us, not what we represented. Us. He had a whole other family. No. Her voice was sharp. He had a family. You had a business arrangement that produced heirs. There's a difference. Diane brought tea I didn't drink. Your father was a good man trapped in a bad marriage. He tried to leave your mother once, when you were 5. She threatened to destroy him financially, to make sure he never saw any of you again, to leak stories about his business practices that would have ruined him. He stayed. For you kids. That's not true. Brianna pulled out a box. Letters. Hundreds of them. Dad's handwriting. Read these. They're all addressed to Mom, chronicling 30 years of trying to do right by everyone and failing. He loved you, Simone. All of you. But he loved us too, and he was tired of pretending we didn't exist. I read for 3 hours. The letters detailed everything: Mom's affairs, plural, her gambling debts Dad covered, her addiction to prescription pills, the way she used us kids as weapons to keep him in line. His affair with Diane had started as comfort and became the only real relationship he'd ever had. One letter, dated the year I graduated college, Simone gave a speech today about family values and legacy. She sounded exactly like Margaret, all performance, no substance. I don't know how to reach her anymore. I don't know if I ever could. I cried in front of strangers. Brianna made more tea. Diane, to her credit, stayed quiet. I went home and found Marcus passed out on the couch. Kenya in the kitchen, staring at nothing. And Mom, finally out of the study, burning papers in the fireplace. Don't, she said when she saw me. Whatever you're thinking, don't. He left her because you're a liar. You blackmailed him into staying. I kept this family together. You kept the money together. The reputation. You didn't love him. You never loved any of us. We were just accessories. She slapped me. First time in my life. How dare you? I gave up everything for this family. What did you give up? Specifically? She couldn't answer. Kenya appeared in the doorway. Was I a mistake? Mom's face did something complicated. No, baby. You were. Don't lie. Please. I've had enough lies. Long pause. Too long. You weren't your father's, Mom finally said. You were supposed to save our marriage. Instead, you almost ended it. But he raised you anyway. He chose you anyway. That's the kind of man he was. Kenya made us sound like something dying. Marcus woke up then, hungover and mean. When he heard, he laughed, this horrible, bitter laugh. So none of us are really Whitmores? Simone's the only legitimate heir, and Dad thought she was a cold bitch. Kenya's not his. I'm a disappointment. And Brianna, the bastard, gets everything? Watch your mouth, I said. Why? It's true, isn't it? We're a fake family. We've always been fake. The next 2 months were warfare. Mom hired lawyers to contest the will. Marcus sided with her, he needed the money too desperately. Kenya moved out, went to stay with friends, stopped taking our calls. I visited Brianna twice more, trying to understand who our father really was. The lawyers found dirt on everyone. Mom's affairs, her debts, her addiction. Marcus's drug problem, the 3 DUIs he'd paid to disappear, the paternity suit from a girl in college. My own secrets came out, the way I'd used Dad's connections to land every job, the time I'd stolen credit for a colleague's work, the ex-boyfriend I'd ruined professionally when he left me. We were all terrible. That was the truth the will revealed. Brianna never fought back. She and Diane just existed, weathering the storm. The will is legal, Brianna told me. I don't want your family torn apart, but I'm not giving up what Dad left me. He chose this for a reason. In the end, the lawyers found what Dad had threatened to release, evidence that Mom had embezzled from her own family's pharmaceutical company years ago, money Dad had helped her hide. If she fought the will, the evidence went public, and she'd face criminal charges. She dropped the case. Marcus had a breakdown, checked into rehab, that I paid for with my 10%. Kenya started therapy, began building a relationship with Brianna. They're half-sisters, and they're both gentle souls who didn't deserve any of this. Mom lives in the mansion alone now. I visit once a month out of obligation. We don't talk about Dad. We don't talk about much at all. I see Brianna every few weeks. She's teaching me that family isn't about blood or money or legacy, it's about showing up, being honest, choosing each other even when it's hard. She's the sister I never knew I needed. But here's what keeps me up at night, my father punished us for not being the children he wanted while he was alive to actually raise us differently. My mother destroyed her marriage and maybe her children trying to maintain an illusion of perfection. Marcus and I became exactly the shallow, selfish people our parents taught us to be. And Kenya, the kindest of us all, paid the price for everyone else's lies. So who's really to blame when a family falls apart? The parents who created the dysfunction, the children who inherited it, or everyone for choosing pride and money over truth? And if you discovered your entire life was built on lies, would you burn it all down to find something real, or would you keep playing the role you were given, pretending the cracks don't exist?